I just gave the grain out to these animals, and you can tell that they're still just back there. They're just they actually just took a look up here and took a look at me, and they just kept on eating the grass. So these animals, this is also another, they got a lot of grass back there right now. There's a lot of grass. The grass is actually very good. I'm gonna see if I can bring this closer over there, because the pigeons are going crazy for this one. And so, I just poured grain out for these animals, and they're not even coming up to eat it. They're not even interested in coming up here to eat it. Maybe here in about an hour or something, and maybe here about half an hour, they'll figure it out and they'll come running up. But usually, if these animals were hungry, if these animals were legitimately hungry, they would be sitting up here waiting for the food. And I poured them out their food, and they're not even coming up here. So I definitely want them to eat it. I don't want the pigeons going crazy for it. And so yesterday I did bring home my paycheck. Yesterday, before I took the animals to market, I actually said that one of the animals was an off-breed, right? I actually said that one of the animals was an off-breed, and I also said that one of the animals is kind of small. Right, I did say that one of the animals was kind of small, and I did say, well, one of the animals was an off-breed. But I came home with 6,000. And so normally, if I liquidated 4 animals, I would be looking to come home with 6,400. But I came home with 6,000 yesterday. But on the other hand, the week, 2 weeks before that, when I liquidated the animals, the animals that I liquidated brought home an extra about 200. Right, I actually did about $200 better, a couple $100 better than I originally anticipated. And so, and this is why whatever, it all evens out. Okay, it all evens out. And the 3 animals that I took to market, and I said that these 3 animals are roughly going to be about 650, hit the scale at 655. So I said, and I've been saying this for a long time, right? I mean, God is my witness. You can even go back in my other videos and just take a look at them. And, I've been saying this for a long time. Market target weight is 650. The 3 animals that I took to market, and the 3 of them that I said are at market weight average, the 3 of them hit the scale at 655. All right, one of them was an off-breed, so I didn't get as much money on him. And one of the 4 was actually small, but I intentionally liquidated that animal because she's just kind of a small animal. All right, she's a small frame animal, and I don't really want smaller frame animals on my field. Right, I want them as big as I can get them. All right, I want the big, medium, large frame animals. And so I went ahead and liquidated her too. And so, and I knew that she was going to hit the scale small. I said that she's not even 600 pounds, and she hit the scale at 565. All right, and so, but I brought home 6,000. And so if we take a look at everything and we just take a look at it for what it is, I've always said that money is not an opinion, right? If I made, okay, and let's just think about it. If I made $11,000 and it cost me $1,500, then how much money did I make? Right, I made $9,500. Okay, that's the money that I made. That money, I can do whatever I want. If I want to buy more cattle, I'll buy more cattle. If I want to buy feed, I'll buy more feed. I actually bought more feed, and the feed will be here on Thursday. All right, and if you don't understand money, another way to look at it is, let's take a look at it in terms of cattle. All right, what do I think is, what is a reasonable thing that, that I believe is going to happen? If we talk about my money in terms of cattle, I already bought enough supplies. I have enough supplies to last me until about, maybe about the beginning of April. I have enough supplies to last me about a month and a half. I bought grain this morning. The grain will be here on Thursday. I've already fertilized my field. The weather conditions are not exactly optimal for biomass accumulation of the grass. And even when I fertilize my grass, I will only be putting nitrogen on my grass. Do I only put nitrogen on my grass? No, I don't. I've already put plenty of phosphorus and plenty of potassium on my grass. I will be putting just nitrogen on my grass up until probably about June. All right, for maybe about 3 months, I'll put just nitrogen on my grass for about the next 4 months. And after that, I will be plowing my field. And when I plow my field, and granted that it'll be the springtime, I will have some broadleaf plants growing in. And if I have some broadleaf plants growing in, clovers and sunflowers and whatever it may be, I can take a look at those broadleaf plants and diagnose the mineral deficiencies on my field, utilize fertilizer, positively charged fertilizer in June, and then plow the field. All right, that's kind of the whole big shebang idea. So let's just take a look at the money in terms of how much money do I make. With this money, what am I going to do with it? And let's not talk about money. Let's talk about cattle, because it's all the same thing, right? Money, land, cattle, it's all the same thing. In terms of a financial sense, it's all the same thing. You can buy land, okay? And I've already, I'm not talking about like the whole spirituality thing and whatever, right? I mean, I've already talked about this. Like, if you're legitimately in a situation where you think it is so unfair that you have to pay $1,200 a month to buy a 20-acre field, that you just can't do it, then, I mean, go and die poor by yourself. There, I don't know what else. I don't know, I don't know how else to put it. If you legitimately think that it is so unfair, oh my God, I can't make $25,000 a month because I don't have $1,200. If that's your situation, then go and die poor by yourself. Don't take anybody else down with you. All right, I give you all of my information for free, and God knows it. My mama knows it, and at the end of the day, it just is what it is. I don't know what to tell you. All right, I probably make somewhere around $25,000 a month. It costs me about $1,000 on the average. It costs me somewhere between $1,200 and $1,500 a month. And let's talk about money, and let's just talk about money in terms of cattle. So what do I think is going to happen? What do I logically see happening? I've already taken a look at my animals and determined that I have that Brangus heifer, and I have that I have several animals. I have a red steer, and I have these animals that I legitimately believe I would anticipate they're going to hit the scale at about 650 here in about 2 weeks. So when I liquidate those animals, and I also have a net positive cash position of a couple $1,000s right now, I would say it's like $2,000, $2,300, something like that. So next month, when I liquidate my 7 animals, I will effectively make enough money to buy 12, but I also have $2,000 cash. So I effectively will be selling 7 animals and buying 14. I will have enough money to buy 14 animals. Am I going to buy 14 animals? No, I'm not. Why? Because my preconditioning pens can only hold 7. All right, my preconditioning pens can only hold 7, so that leaves me with an excess cash of maybe $7,000, $8,000, $9,000. So what do I anticipate that I'm going to do with that? If I have to, I don't want to. What is an extra $8,000 a month going to do for me? It's not going to do anything. It's not going to do anything. Holding on to an extra whatever $150,000, $250,000 cash a year is not going to do anything. It's already a minuscule amount of money. What am I going to do with $250,000? It's a worthless amount of money. I could shovel $1 million into a hole right now and light it on fire, and it wouldn't even do anything. Not to me financially. All right, and let's just take a look at it in terms of cattle. I would anticipate that I liquidate about 7 cattle over the next month. I have enough supplies to last me until about April. I've already bought them. I went ahead and I bought them already. I bought them this morning. And I still have net excess cash. I'm still sitting on money. So let's take a look at this situation. Next month, I sell 7 animals. I make enough money to buy 12. I actually have enough money to buy 14 because I'm taking money in from this month to next month. And I've already bought everything that I needed. I don't need to buy anything else. So instead of buying 14, I don't have the facilities to buy 14 animals at the same time, right? I'm going to buy 7. And if I buy 7, that leaves me with, whatever, $7, $8, $9, $10,000 cash. So what am I going to do with that? If it comes down to it, I will legitimately, I will just end up purchasing 400-pound animals, commodity type #1 animals, preconditioned at commodity prices. And I will just, I will put my money in those animals because those animals don't need to be preconditioned. Right, I've already said that if you have an animal that is 400 pounds, the animal probably already knows what food is. It's not getting its entire diet off of milk. If you have a 200-pound animal, there is a very realistic chance that maybe 20% of your animals legitimately don't even know what food is. They won't even know what food is. Even if you give it to them, they won't even know what it is. And if they eat it, they will have massive acidosis. If you are not like a very, very thorough in the maintenance of your little 200-pound calves, if you do not understand what you're doing with the 200-pound calves, they are very, 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 very difficult. All right, they're very difficult. I mean, you're gonna have to, you're gonna have to give them, the right ration. You're gonna have to put them on the right medications. You're gonna have to put them on. You're gonna have to have the right facilities, etc., etc. But once they get to about 350, 400 pounds, you don't really have to worry about that. If you put food in front of them, they'll just eat it. They'll eat it. They're not just gonna have massive diarrhea either, right? I mean, and so if I have to, I will end up. But here's the thing: is that okay? If I sell 7 animals. If I sell 7 animals, and I talked about this, I've been talking about this, if I sell 7 animals and I buy 14, all right, what's ultimately going to happen is that I'm going to start building a large amount of positive equity in the herd. All right, and I've already said that I'm not going to stop growing my business to have some worthless, trivial amount of cash. Oh my God, if I just stop growing my business, I can sit on $8,000 a month. And oh my God, if I just stop growing my business, I can have an extra $10,000 a month. But I'm not. Why would I do that? And I talked about this yesterday, right? It's like, okay. And here's a very realistic way to put it. I already have about 25, 35 grand. If I took my 25, 35 grand and I took it to 100 grand, is that really going to do anything for me? No, it's not. It's not. All right. If my air conditioner blows up, I can already fix it. All right. If my car blows up, I can already fix it. If I have a $5,000 emergency, I can already pay for it. It doesn't matter to me. All right, having 100 grand instead of 25, 35 grand is not going to change and it's not going to do anything for me. I would rather have cattle. I would rather invest in my business, grow my business. I would rather do those things than hold on to some trivial amount of money. All right, 100 grand is a worthless amount of money. What are you going to do with 100 grand? If you legitimately, oh my God, 100 grand would save my life, go to the bank and take a loan. You can borrow 100 grand for like $500 a month. All right, legitimately, if that is what you believe, oh my God, if I had 100 grand, my life would be changed forever, then go to the bank and take a loan. Have fun. It'll cost you $500 a month. It'll cost you $600 a month. All right, and then take your 100 grand and then go do whatever worthless thing, whatever, right? I mean, 100 grand is not going to do anything for anybody. Practically nothing. I mean, you might whatever. Oh my God, what are you going to do? Look at it, right? I mean, it's not going to do anything. All right, there's no reason for me to take my cash stockpile from 25, 35 grand to 100 grand. So what am I going to do? All right, what am I going to do? I would anticipate that when I sell my next, I would sell about 7 animals next month. And when I sell these 7 animals and I take my cash stockpile into the next month, I will actually have enough money to buy about 14. But my preconditioning pens can really only hold 7. And so what I'm going to do is, with the leftover money, I am probably more than likely, I am considering buying 400 pound, taking my market weight up to about 400 for the purchase price. I'm thinking about maybe even purchasing 400-pound animals, and these 400-pound animals, I buy them at commodity prices, and I may even buy them preconditioned. And the reason that I'm going to do that is because I can probably just drop them off in the field. I just give them their shots and then put them in the field. Right? I just give them their antibiotics, and then I just let them loose back here, and they'll just go off and eat the grass and eat the grain, and I won't have to worry about it. And so, that's what I'm anticipating that I end up doing with the extra money. But here's the thing is that when I do that, if I'm liquidating 7 animals and buying 10 animals, if I'm liquidating 7 animals and I'm buying 12 animals, I already have enough supplies to last my business until about April. My grass is going to start growing in very well. I mean, I would anticipate that it only cost me about $250 to grow my grass for the next, I would anticipate that it cost me about $800 to grow my grass for the next 4 months. That's what I reasonably anticipate. And how did I come up with that number? Well, I would anticipate that I need to put about 150 pounds of nitrogen on my field over the next 4 months, and that's it. I'm not going to put any more phosphorus. I'm not going to to put any more potassium. I'll do that in July when I plow the field. And I would anticipate that I need about 150 pounds of nitrogen per acre. I have 10 acres, so I need 1,500 pounds of nitrogen. If I'm going to purchase nitrogen via urea is effectively half nitrogen, about 46% nitrogen. So if I need 150 pounds of nitrogen per acre, I need 1,500 pounds of nitrogen, right? So how many tonnages of urea is that? It's 1.5 tons. A tonnage of urea costs about $550. So multiply 550 times 1.5. And even right now, my cattle have, are effectively eating so much grass that they're not even interested in the grain. All right, I gave them the grain, and they're not even coming up here to eat it. All right, and it cost me maybe, I would anticipate that my business costs me less than $1,000 a month over the next 4 months. And if you don't understand the money, then let's talk about it in terms of cattle. When I liquidate my next 7 animals, I will effectively have enough money to purchase about 14 animals. I'm taking cash in from this month into the next month. If I sell 7 animals and I buy 14, my herd numbers are going to grow. The number of animals that I have are going to grow. Am I going to stop growing my business so that I can, oh my God, let me stop growing no, I'm not going to do that. What am I going to do? If the net equity evaluation of my herd becomes too large, I will start liquidating animals from the stabilized herd. I will take a look at my herd and I will liquidate animals from the stabilized herd. Am I going to stop growing my business? Oh my God, let me just stop growing my business. No, I'm not going to do that. All right, I would anticipate that within about 3 or 4 months, I have 0 debt on my cattle and I'm ready to buy myself a big piece of land. All right, and effectively, the whole idea is that I would anticipate that, maybe within about 3 or 4 months, I will have about $100,000 cash. I will have about $100,000 cash put away. And when I go and I take my loan, I will effectively, and you have to understand that me doing a real estate deal is going to take some time as well. It may take 2 months. And in those 2 months, I may even end up making another 50 grand. But if I have 150 grand cash, just ready to go, I can float the debt on $3 million worth of real estate for 10 months, even if I completely stopped working today. If I just completely stopped working, I could float the debt on $3 million for about 10 months. All right, and so that gives me a long runway to get myself started. I can effectively run almost 2 lot of cattle in those 10 months. And I will have 0 leverage. So even if I only leverage against just my herd, I don't use the cash stockpile or anything. I don't leverage the cash stockpile or anything. I legitimately just leverage against my herd. That will put my balance sheet at a 1-for-1 leverage. Not even my entire balance sheet. Right, if I leverage against my cattle 1-for-1, I can effectively, maybe triple the size of my herd instantaneously. Right, effectively somewhere around triple, more than double. All right, and so but that's honest. With the utmost sincerity, it just is what it is. I don't know what else to tell you. If you're having difficulty understanding money, then let's talk about it in terms of cattle. I've already bought enough supplies. I've already fertilized my grass. I've already bought enough supplies to last my farm up until about April. Next month, I've taken a look at my herd, and I would anticipate that I liquidate about 7 animals, and I already have net positive cash. I'm already sitting on a couple $1,000s. I would anticipate that next month, when I liquidate my 7 animals, I actually make enough money to buy about 14. If I have 14 animals, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to invest all of my earnings, right? I've been talking about this. I'm going to go ahead and invest all of my earnings. And if I decide that there is just too much equity in the herd, to whatever, right? Et cetera, then I am going to liquidate animals from the stabilized herd. I'm not going to stop growing my business. Oh my God, right? If I have to, I will even start purchasing 400-pound animals at commodity prices. I may even have to buy them preconditioned. And why would I do that? Because if I bring them in at 400 pounds or so, 350 pounds, then chances are that they will just start eating feed. They will start eating feed. They will start chewing on grass. They're not gonna, they're not gonna have massive, you're not gonna have to really, keep a good eye on them. But you can actually see the animals. They're actually, looking, I actually want to bring them up here because, the pigeons are already here, and I don't want the pigeons going crazy for the, the pigeons legitimately go crazy for the feed. They will legitimately just swarm the thing. And so, I don't really want the pigeons, but I want the cattle up here eating the feed. But, and this is actually a very, just take a look at it. I'm legitimately standing here. They're looking at me. I've given them their feed for the morning, and they're not even coming up here to eat it. Right, that's also another way to tell if you have a lot of grass. The cattle are legitimately just sitting there eating the grass, looking at me. I've given them their feed, and they're not even coming up here to eat it. I would actually anticipate that, my business, it will cost me less than $1,000 a month to run. It'll cost me less than $1,000 over about the next 4 months. But, are things always, this good financially? No, they're not. Spring is the time when I make the most money, okay? In the winter, my expenses double, right? Double, triple. Last month, I had to pay $2,000 to run my business. It legitimately almost more than doubled my expenses. I would say that my expenses for this month, next month, the month after that, for about the next 4 months, maybe it's maybe I invest $800 a month. And if you want to take a look at how much money I generate, and you don't understand the money, then think about it in terms of cattle. When I liquidate these 7 animals, and I've already said I'm not going to take any more leverage, but I am going to reinvest my earnings, right? I'm going to reinvest my cash. I'm not gonna take any more earnings, or excuse me, I'm not gonna take any more leverage. Even when I do that without any leverage, next month when I liquidate 7 animals, I will have to buy 14 animals. I have enough supplies to last my business until about April. I am legitimately sitting here with the grain in front of me. The cattle are looking at me, and they're not even coming up here to eat it. All right, this grass, it costs me maybe $275 a month to grow. On the average, maybe it costs me $400 or $500 a month to grow. Let's just say $500 a month, and I really only grow it 8 months out of the year. All right, and for that investment, and I supplement the grass with a little bit of grain. I would say, I would actually anticipate that, if I were to just sit on this 10.5 acre field for the entire year, and I were to just sit here and and at the end of the year, I was talking about this yesterday, and I did one of the stupidest things. And when I talk about it, it just sounds ridiculous, right? I don't even want to think about, oh my God, the only thing I can think about is cash. Why? Because I'm a moron. The only thing I'm gonna think about is cash. Oh my God, I don't have money unless I have cash. If I were to sit here and I just said, forget the business, forget everything, whatever, I just want cash. How much cash would I have within about a year? How much cash would I have? Probably somewhere around 350 grand. Am I going to sit here with 350 grand? No, I'm not. What am I going to do with 350 grand? It's not going to do anything. 350 grand is such a worthless amount of money. I could legitimately shovel $500,000 into a hole right now and light it on fire, and it wouldn't even do anything. It wouldn't even cripple my finances, not even one bit. Probably not even $1 million. All right, I could legitimately shovel $1 million into a hole right now and light it on fire, and it wouldn't even do anything. All right, 350 grand is such a worthless amount of money. What are you gonna do with 350 grand? You're gonna retire? You're gonna go and live your dreams? What are you gonna do with 350 grand? If you legitimately feel like you need 350 grand and 350 grand is gonna save your life, then go to the bank and take a loan. It'll cost you like 2 grand. It probably won't even cost you 2 grand. All right, you go to the bank and take your $350,000 loan. It'll cost you like $2,000 a month, $3,000, not 3,000, like $2,500 a month, something like that. And then have fun living your dream. Nobody cares about your dreams. You should probably start thinking about making money. I guarantee it, granted that you're not going to like sell your soul to the devil to do it, right? I mean, granted that you're not going to go on some worthless adventure, granted that you're not going to do some ridiculously moronic thing. You're probably just better off making money. Probably are. Think about what kind of assets do you want to accumulate. Oh, I want to buy this asset because it's a good asset, and I'm going to purchase it at this price because that is the appraisal value. If I purchase this asset, and with the overall, economic situation, whatever, right, in a high inflation environment, I believe that this asset is going to do well. Produces a steady return every single month, and et cetera, et cetera. All right, I mean, start thinking about things like that. And and maybe when I talk about it, and when I talk about these things, you will understand as well. It's like, how ridiculous does it sound when I say that? Oh my God, imagine me saying that. Oh my God, I don't have the money. I can't do this because I don't have the money. You see how ridiculous that sounds? This costs me about $1,000 a month, about $1,500 a month, and I make like $20,000 back. I don't care about the $1,000. All right, I don't care about the $1,500. Trust me, I don't. I legitimately don't care about $1,500. I don't. You see how ridiculous that sounds when I say it? And that's how I hear it. Oh my God, I don't have the money. I don't have $10 million, so I can't do anything. You see how ridiculous that sounds? And the cattle are actually coming up here now. Imagine what if I said that? I mean, wouldn't that make me sound like a complete idiot? Right? I mean, think about it. Oh my God, I don't have the money, so I can't do it. I just take $1,500 out of the $25,000 that I make, and I pay for whatever I need to pay. That, I don't know how else to put that. The asset pays for itself. And actually the cattle, and they took a look at me, and then they just walked up here for about a little bit, and then they just started eating grass again. But I've given them their feed, and they're not even eating it. I'm legitimately standing here. They're looking at me, and they're just standing there. Oh, I mean, maybe they start moving up here, but legitimately, I mean, that's another way to take a look at it, right? I mean, these animals, maybe they're eating, I would say maybe 75% of their diet on grass. Even if I give it to them, even if I give them the grain, they don't eat it. But, I'm just going to be completely honest about it. I'm going to be completely sincere about it. I mean, it's like, why not just give my perspective? All right, why not just give my perspective? I mean, why not? I mean, because, I mean, there are so many people, and it's like, there's just massive piles of problems, and it's like, why not me just have me talk about the things that go on with my life too, right? I mean, because at the end of the day, I do very well for myself. I don't know how else to put it, but if you actually I don't even know what my net worth is. I don't. It's astronomical. All right, it's very high. I don't even, and another way to look at it is that I legitimately, when it comes to money, one of the biggest problems that I personally deal with is that I make an excessive amount, legitimately. And it's like, oh my God, first world problems. But it's like, at the end of the day, if you want to go and start a cattle farm, nobody's stopping you. All right, let's see if you can even do 10%. I haven't seen anybody even do 10% to this day. Legitimately have not seen anybody even do 10%. All right, and it's like, and if you think it's unfair, then go and do it yourself. All right, I don't know how. Oh my God, he just whatever. He just flexing. I'm not flexing on nobody. All right, do I look like I'm flexing? Right? I mean, I don't have. Whatever. Right? I'm just giving you my perspective. I don't. Most people. Like, if you legitimately saw me in real life, if you legitimately took a look at me, you would probably have no idea that I make such a drastic amount of money. You would probably have no idea. And I've talked about this all the time. Even when you're looking at it, you probably have no idea what's going on. Even when I tell you what's going on, exactly detail for detail, you probably have no idea what's going on. Why? Because you're a massive pile of problems. You've been going the wrong way for too long. You're probably never going to turn around. You're probably going to die poor. I guarantee it. All right, and money talks. I don't know how else to put that. At the end of the day, I don't care. Trust me, I don't. I'm the one who makes the money. I'm the one who knows how to make the money. Trust me, opinions don't mean anything to me. I'm the one who makes the money, and I'm the one who knows how to make the money. I make a ballistic amount of money. Trust me, opinions don't matter to me. Trust me. They don't. I mean, and if I were to just, and it's very impressive, right? I mean, on a 10.5 acre field, just the whole, if I were to legitimately just liquidate, and just sit here on a 10.5 acre field at the end of the year with just cash, because that's what, whatever, I would probably make about 350 grand. All right, but and when I talk about these things, maybe you'll go, oh my God, that is kind of that is just moronic. Oh my God, how much cash can I bring home? How much cash can I bring home? You see how stupid that sounds? All right, why would I bring home any more cash? I already have plenty of cash. All right, I would say that I'm sitting on about 25, 35 grand already. Why would I bring home any more? I'm going to think about other things. Growing my business. What do I think is going to happen with my, where do I see my business going over the next month? Right, I'm going to liquidate 7 animals and I'm going to buy 14. If I do that, am I just going to stop growing my business? No, I'm not going to do that. I can only hold 7 animals in my preconditioning pen, and with the rest of the money, I may have to buy 400-pound animals that are preconditioned already. Number 1 type commodity animals, and just buy them at commodity prices. Right, I may have to do that. But even if I do that, then it's going to be like I'm selling 7 and I'm buying 11. My herd is still growing by 4 animals. Am I going to stop growing my business? No, I'm not going to. What am I going to do? I'm going to take a look at my stabilized herd, and I'm going to take 4 animals from my stabilized herd, and maybe I just liquidate them early, right? I'll figure it out, right? I would say that within about 3 or 4 months, I actually, I probably have enough, within about 3 or 4 months, I would say that I probably have about maybe I have about 100,000. I have about 100,000 cash. I have about 150,000 cash, and then I'm gonna go and get myself a new piece of land. And so that's the big idea, right? But this is one of the animals that's going to be going to market here in about 2 weeks. And this is one of the animals. I would say she's probably about 600 pounds right now. Maybe a little bit heavier, maybe like 610. But I'm gonna be liquidating animals that are this size here in 2 weeks. I already bought everything that I need to run my farm for the next 2 months. For the next month and a half, I already have everything that I need to run my farm for the next month and a half. I've been standing here with the grain in front of me, and the cattle were looking at me, and they didn't even come up here to eat it. I mean, are they eating it now? Sure they are. But if these animals were legitimately hungry, they would be standing in the front waiting for me. All right, and I would actually say that the conditions for growing grass are actually going to improve over the next for the next 4 months. They're actually going to go better. And but that's the thing, right? I mean, money talks. All right, if you have a bunch of opinions but you have no money, that's kind of pathetic, right? I mean, maybe we should start thinking about something else, right? And I've always talked about, what's something good to think about. Find some good assets, okay? Find a good asset. Go and talk to the banker about it. Come up with a reasonable plan for yourself. I mean, don't sit there and be some pathetic individual. All right, I mean, let's think about something else, right? I mean, let's think about, let's find us a good asset. Find something that you understand, the S&P 500. Something, I mean, anything. All right, go and find yourself a good asset. All right, hold on to it forever. Stick to it. Don't ask anybody for an opinion. All right, know you're not a saint. All right, most people are a massive pile of problems. You should not be asking anybody for an opinion. You should think about it for yourself. All right, how about we start thinking about things like that? All right, and I'm not suggesting anybody go and become a cattleman, okay? If you legitimately want to become a cattleman, you're probably not going to make it. Probably won't. All right, I would probably know within 3 seconds. Unless you were very committed to the idea, like you were legitimately very committed to the idea. Like if I took a look at you and I legitimately saw somebody who was going to work on it 7 days a week for the next 15 years of your life, then sure, you can make it. Anybody could. Granted that you were born with average IQ. If you were born with 100 IQ, you could learn how to do 90% of this. But you're going to have to be very committed to the idea. Very committed. I have not seen anybody even do 10%. Money talks. I would reasonably anticipate that I make somewhere around $20,000 and $25,000 a month on a 10.5 acre field. And I make that money via a business that I started myself. This business that I started myself, I could remake this business over and over and over again if I felt like it. If I legitimately lost all of this today, I could redo it all in 3 seconds. It does not matter to me. Right? I mean, farming is not easy. And, how many people do you know? It's like, I legitimately became a cattleman. And when I became a cattleman, I legitimately started making so much money. It just went, my net worth went, I don't even know how much money I make. I don't. I make a ballistic amount. And here's the thing. I will probably end this year making closer to $1 million than I will 250. I probably will. I will probably end this year making closer to $1 million than I will 250. More than likely, I will. And I'm talking about just straight cash. All right, I will probably end the year making closer to $1 million. And the whole thing, it's like when you take a look at my situation and, I give you my numbers, I just tell you how much money I make and et cetera, et cetera. I tell you what I'm going to do with the money, et cetera, et cetera. I tell you these things and, it's a fact. It's not some opinion. It's not an opinion. All right, I'm legitimately just stating a fact. I have enough supplies to last my farm for about a month and a half. I'll be liquidating about 7 animals next month. When I take my cash flow, when I take my net positive cash position and add it to the 7 animals that I sell, I will make enough money to buy 14. But if I buy 14 animals and I sell 7, then I'm net positive 7 animals. If I'm net positive 7 animals, and granted that, maybe for the other 7 animals, I don't purchase them at 200, I purchase them at 400. Right, and so instead of bringing home 14 animals, I bring home 11 animals. I'm still net positive 4 animals. So I take the 4 animals out of my stabilized herd and I liquidate whatever, right? And I mean, it just is what it is. I don't know what to tell you. All right, it's nobody cares about your opinions. All right, if you have a bunch of opinions and you have no money, then that's not good. That's kind of pathetic. All right, at the end of the day, I'm not trying to slap anybody in the face with money. But if you take a look at how much money I generate, if you legitimately take a look at how much money I generate, this is a very realistic way to put it. 99.99999% of the entire country was actually closer to being homeless in 2024 than to generating as much money as me. All right, effectively everybody. There were only 20,000 people in the entire country that generated as much money as me in 2024. Only 20,000. All right, and the disparity is going to get even worse. This year, I will actually probably end up making closer to $1 million than I will 250. All right, and I don't know how else to put that. It just is what it is. It's a statement of fact. All right, and if you take a look at the 20,000 people in the country that generated as much money as me in 2024, You know, 80% of them might be an idiot. Who knows? Nobody knows. I don't know who these people are. I have not seen somebody to this day. All right, I have not seen anybody to this day generate as much money as me. And this is another way to look at it. How many people do you know? It's like if you just put them in a truck and you took them into a Central Texas in the middle of nowhere and you just dropped them off in the middle of Central Texas on a random field. How many people do you know? It's like if you came back 6 months later, that individual would be a multimillionaire. How many people, would be making like $35,000-$40,000 a month? How many people do you know that can do that? It's not a very long list. It might only be me. All right, I would say that I probably make somewhere around $20,000 and $25,000 a month on this field. I probably do. All right, realistically, I probably do. And another way to look at that number is at the end of the year, if I just liquidated everything, I just gave up growing my business. Oh my God, I don't want to grow my business anymore. I'm not even going to think about assets. I'm only going to think about cash like a complete moron. How much cash do you think I will have? That's another way to look at it. All right, how many people do you know that just like legitimately, you could take this guy and if you and whatever the $2,000 a month that I need, right, to make my 40, 50 grand. I don't care about the $2,000. I would say that I turn about $1,500 a month into about $25,000. All right, when it comes to money, I legitimately make so much money. I don't even know. I legitimately make a massive excess of money. I do, honest to God. I don't know how else to put that. My mama knows it. I know it. God knows it. The bank account, money is just a number. I don't know how else to put it. All right, it's just a statement of fact. And if you're having difficulty understanding money, then we could talk about it in terms of cattle. I would anticipate that I liquidate about 7 animals in the next 2 weeks. Or not 7. I would liquidate about 7 animals over the next month. In the month of March, I will liquidate about 7 animals. I'm taking my cash position from this month into next month as well. When I liquidate those 7 animals, I will probably make enough money to buy about 14. I already have everything that I need to keep my business running for a month and a half. All right, think about it like that. All right, and I'm not taking any more leverage. All of the money is mine. I'm not taking any more leverage. I'm taking 0 leverage. So all 14 cattle that I buy are going to be mine. All right, I'm not going to owe the bank anything. And if you compound my growth forward, I mean, I would, if I legitimately even just reinvested just my earnings into this field, if I took just my earnings and reinvested into this field, I would need to purchase probably close to about 250 cattle by the end of the year. I probably would. That's another way to look at how much money am I going to make. And that's just my earnings. That's 0 leverage. That's another way to look at it. I don't know how much money I make. I make a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if I make multiple hundreds of times more money than the average person. I wouldn't be surprised. There are legitimately times when I am looking for a piece of land in a random city somewhere. It will have a population of like 250 people. And I will legitimately generate more money by myself than that entire city full of people combined. Legitimately, I take a look at the median income of that city. I take a look at the population data of that city. There is a very realistic possibility that I actually generate more money than everybody in that city combined. If you put me in that city, I mean, it would legitimately, I would probably generate more money by myself than all of those people combined. I would show up and I would start my own business and et cetera, et cetera. Start making a large amount of money. I don't even know how much money I make. I make enough money to not worry about money. I have not seen anybody even do 10% to this day. All right, money talks. All right, nobody cares about your opinions, especially not me. Oh my God, I don't care. Trust me, I'm the one with the money. I'm the one who knows how to make the money. And at the end of the day, I have the money. Trust me, whatever, right? It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't. I don't know how else to put that. I'm the one who knows how to make the money, and I'm the one who makes the money. I make so much money running cattle. I don't even know how much money I make. It's enough to not worry about money. That's how much money I make. My net worth is astronomical. I don't even know what my net worth is, but it's very high. All right, I don't know. We can sit here and we can do this, all day. I don't even know how much money I make. I make a ballistic amount. I make enough to not worry about money. I don't know how much money I make. It's astronomical. All right, legitimately, honest to God, my mama knows it, God knows it, and I know it. And at the end of the day, I'm the one with the bank account. I'm the one who knows how to make the money, and I'm the one who makes the money. Honest to God, I could shovel $500,000 into a hole right now and light it on fire. Probably even $1 million into a hole and light it on fire, and it wouldn't even do anything. It wouldn't even matter to me. Honest to God. My mama knows it. I know it. It just is what it is. All right, and I'm not looking to, I'm not looking to, be in bad graces with God, but maybe I shouldn't, but my mama knows it. Okay, I'm not, and my mama knows it. I know it. I make a large amount of money. I don't even know how much I make. I make a very large amount. And if like if you're having difficult times understanding the money, if I were to just reinvest my earnings back into my business, not take any leverage, by the end of the year, I would probably need to have about 200 cattle. Within about the next 3 months, I would need about 70 cattle. I have about 37 right now. Or excuse me, I have 34 now. Next month, I will probably have to purchase about 14, and I would liquidate 7. So, I don't know how else to put it. It just is what it is, right? I mean, I'm the one who makes the money. I'm the one who knows how to make the money. Trust me, I don't care about your opinions. If you have a bunch of opinions and you have no money and you have a bunch of opinions about money, that's kind of pathetic. All right, money's not up for debate. All right, I don't know how much money I make. I make a large amount. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm the one with the money. I don't care. I'll just go and I'll just continue to run my business. Trust me, it doesn't matter to me. All right, oh my God, right? I don't care. I'm the one who makes the money. I'm the one with the money. It doesn't matter to me. I don't even know how much money I make. I make a ballistic amount. Astronomical. That's how much I make. All right, that's it for me today, YouTube. Y'all have a good one.